We are live. Welcome, everyone. I am Richard Millett, the one and only. And this is the quarantine stream, the 33rd. And let us hear the ever beautiful, ever loving, ever wonderful, ever green quarantine stream. Shall we? Beautiful. How are we doing out there? Doing good? Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it. Exercise the cop from your mind, and you will be fine. Look into your heart and ask, why would I ever want to censor art? Cleanse your perception and celebrate self-expression. This is by Charles Allison. This is called I Want to Know. We drink or break open our veins solely to know. Hunger drives me onward to feel all of the skin. The thrill of the knowing has me out of my brain. I want to know. Into our eyes, hundreds of flashes cause us to feel the life in the sky. I want to know. We drink or break open our veins solely to know. I want to know. I want to know. Please let me know. I have to know. I want to know. I want to know. Called Flowers at the Foot of the Cave. Swinging light bulb above a cracked, we'll start over. Swinging light bulb above a cracked basement window. A painting depicting the creation of creation and a makeshift bed. I made up a new name for you that I'll only keep in my head. My head. Look at the jewel resting in the bottom of the wooden cup, or the stack of handwritten sheets explaining the steps of the ritual in rich, deep red. And the names of everyone there exist in my head. My head. Charcoal renderings of saints ripped from a magazine and pinned to the door. Dented bits of metal shaped to make a mosaic and pushed into the floor. Quarter-inch thick spray-painted silver ribbons looped like ringlets in the air, and the stray white veins from a feather landing on your hair. Here I sit, half childish, with freshly washed clothes strewn over the chair. A tray with orange peels, melon rinds, and empty glasses rests balanced on the table's edge, while I'm reading a map leading to a room more colorful than the womb, where I can overhear things other than gurgling and organs rushing. But still, this will always be in its infancy, because love is where Genesis greets infinity. And for proof you can look in my eyes, even though I won't confirm or deny how much of this is true, but I trust that will get worked out by you. guys doing okay out there? Beautiful. It's called Milky Skies. For 3 weeks, I've seen the sky as one color stretched over a muted spectrum, and I've heard tiny handbells clang at irregular intervals. Without forethought, I was in a state of unstable concentration. With my sense of decency tested, I stared at celeste-colored veins and remembered how they were made. I was reminded of the worm, thankful to be placed back in the dirt after suffering a 2-inch gash on its side from careless shoveling. The youngest lady stops weeping and waiting and steps into invisibility, her velvet-lined pockets filled with small wreaths of braided blue stems. While embarrassed at how much she once admired her mother's brooches, she now fully blushes at her wish to own an ocean full of stone. Her friends' repeatedly requested questions only furthers her hesitation, so she leaves a small note of explanation. Life is grossly inelegant in its demands that one must impatiently forget chores performed with red impressions left intact from knots affixed to ankles and wrists as if the sores never existed. Shock of copper curls, cerulean halos in his eyes, considers his environment, and with his shoulders pinned back, adjusts his balance and stands straight up in his raft. The one idea that has possessed him so vanishes out from his mind, pierces the sea, then its velocity escapes gravity and reaches away past the sky, but he fears no lack of purpose or whether this time has been meaningless. He has total devotion to the base truth of his vocation. His ankles give way and he falls back gently, lands on his hands while some water splashes in. He considers those who would deride his actions and thinks, "I don't require any clothes. I'd rather remain naked for everyone." I felt watched when I first voluntarily gave away confidential information, then tried to explain the layout of San Antonio to a stranger who never knew I'd never been there before. And now, as minutes become limitless, any vows I made always sustained me. I felt watched when my thinking was clean and capable of strict reasoning, and I rode along freshly painted runways, left notes on license plates, brambles, and high chairs. And now, as lassitude disintegrates, any vows I made remain unchanged. I felt watched when my legs were bathed in a heat as persistent and unruly as a bat taunting a seal, repeatedly landing on its shoulders and squealing. And now, as fury impassively fades, any vows I made could never break. I felt watched when I attended 10 drawing classes and attempted to finish a full circle freehand without interference between thought and motion. And now that my hands are patient, any vows I made are everything. Here she flies! And now we know if the promises made more than 10 years ago have been kept. Here she flies! With 2 pens, rosary, brass paperweight, earrings, locket, and measurements written on a business card. Here she flies, gums and hair receded, a miniature brace for a baby, wrapped in grayed, hardened plastic. Here she flies, with an oxygen tank bubbling ceaselessly, a UHF channel on the television showing an old western silently. Here she flies, while I stand with tentative confirmation, a glass of thickened water, and 3 empty white boxes. Here she flies with skin like marble over winding staircases and rooms with seafoam-colored walls and intimidating machinery. How we doing out there? Doing good? Beautiful. Called When I Look. When I look and walls are in the wind, when I see you're unsure how to begin, I promise soon you'll be laughing with friends in open gardens clapping. When you see, you remember every dream. So we find it's simple to forget. So you find that you are very blessed. Through windows at sunset silently, faces meet your eyes, smiling serenely. So you find you remember every dream. And you try imagining all things beyond eyesight, in air, over our celebration, beneath streets unknown, untouched 40 fathoms deep, too far to reach. When I look and talk to you, I know. When I see, you will never be alone. The mirror reflects a statue, lilac bush and bee, and we agreed feelings create reality. When you see, you remember every dream. In and near eclipsing, absorbing, transmogrifying wood, water, and sand, pushing till the horizon is vanishing, scraping outer limits, distant and away. And we're just going to go straight into blue-soaked Scepter. The kink in my neck that runs to my kidneys, distracting me from movies I've long since memorized and repeating quotations I've lived inside of, and I've no desire to rewrite history that doesn't concern me. When what I didn't know already felt familiar, when I saw the inscription on my commemorative plaque had been worn back to smooth silver, when I slipped behind the mist, changed clothes, washed my hands, and shaved, with no light and with no intention of anyone seeing my face for a while, I was willingly walked through a coal-stained city lot and deposited in the back seat of an already running windowless army green car, which was then locked from the outside. Mary, did I abandon my practice? Committed an indirect affront in my brief absence? My name is Keith. The beggar at my door raised his arm, but soft, while I listened to his parables that had no center. My name is Luke, with an auspicious mistress beside me. I looked at a baby looking out a window at fluttering street signs. My name is Julia. My temper was gentle as I read a sermon called, Are You Here to Celebrate the Death of Death? My name is Giles. I wish that I'd been obscured when my ears were bitten with endearment while I was plainly ignored. My name is Grace. I was observed by 3 people whose accounts proved suggestible and fractured. My name is Abigail. I faced hard construction when I, in truth, spoke forcefully about my forged fingerprints. My name is Morgan. I spent twilight emptied, save for sketching a red tunic on bent paper. My name is Brooke. I was registered in a hotel under an assumed name and made lists of families I pitied. My name is Gabriel. I singed my hair and clothes trying to be recalled. The sky has been moonless for 29 nights. Why couldn't I stay? I was bothered by the way the streetlights hit the trees and reflected off the leaves. I took a knife and short length of rope. 6 hours later, I'm waiting for you to arrive, carrying a scepter and wearing a breastplate, with frayed shoulder blades and exhausted eyes. I'm waiting for you to arrive, sitting cross-legged on the sodden deck with wayward souls who were barely seen. I leapt off the ledge and was soon out of haunt as I climbed the concave shores, wondering if I should forage, catch a gudgeon, or eat unbruised fruit that had fallen. The gravelly, guttered soil gave way to encroaching forest, dense with rows of weighted, wet purple limbs that succumbed to gravity and wind. Then abruptly I was in the center of a champaign, and the only objects I found were short rows of tree stumps and stones, each carved with the query, "What made you look here?" I jaunced away into the odd even and was again pursued by the thicket's reach. The thorns licked my calves, the ant-hill shone like pebbled glass. I brushed past a frog with a violet tongue and discolored teeth, who gulped for relief while his body remained static like a splayed thread in aspic. I made my way into the antres and found myself prating, "Prithee, pray tell what you remember of working your hands into the mud and feeling it curl on your fingernails. It feels like a relic reunited with its original setting after having been figured lost or only seen in a dream." Betimes I glanced around for the traveling lamp while standing beside the curvature, hearing myself called datelessly abandoned wizards and leasing and be faithfully young-eyed. I returned once more to the champaign and sat among the stones in silence. I received no visions or visitations, no inspiration to invent an incantation. And in this vacuum of communication, I only experienced the sense, or perchance suggestion, of the imposing press of eras and atmosphere. And now I noticed this restless weather, shy beams of sunlight moving sideways through the strings of remaining rain. How we doing out there? This is called Sacrifice the Satellite. Moments before dawn, phone ringing, unable to suss if it was happening from impressions born in shallow sleep while lights flicked on in neighbors' windows. Or, as the drift seized me back in, we were gun runners trapped in a house, detained by police, threatened by rivals, but I was able to slither out a side door and snuck away to a cafe, where I was supposed to summon assistance, but decided instead, the hell with them. I was called to a room. The walls of the hallway were blue, and when I entered, there they sat, looking exactly as they did in 1984. When one spoke, there was no sound from their mouths, but the words synced loudly in my skull. Crushed flowers float downstream in the rainwater, and handmade smokestacks drip steam on half-awake blades of grass. New nuns count the gray hairs of their predecessors as they scan old photographs. Will they question who's alive in heaven? Are their words papering a mountain? They will have a moment where they behold the beauty of an empty screen or unplowed, snow-covered street. Lost in a world between are the souls who only dream when looking up. Thick, shimmering splotches of gray grease liquefy and start to drip down rust-colored walls of skins, watched by a babe with a flash bulb embedded in their wrist, who sits on gouged black and gold tiles in the center of a disused ballroom dance floor among carelessly flung piles of metal-pronged monitors, cords, discs, spilled coffee grounds, broken vodka bottles, and asymmetrical platinum wigs. Every year there's a whisper the inventory will get a clean transfer. Winston Dubois knew the recovered money was wrapped in a mosquito net and secured in the back of a carriage. The horse stopped in front of an Air Force base, which got inadvertently captured on videotape, with the footage dissected by theorists for decades. Desmond Hampton learned Tony Chamberlain had double-crossed him as he drank milk and clapped erasers together outside his classroom. His signature had been forged and hidden throughout the system. The younger best brother thinks, if only I were a CEO buying companies whose names I don't know and could leverage my credibility to simultaneously flaunt my status and champion myself as an obscurity. While the older best brother thinks, if only I were an oligarch and had a tapestry of machinery to do what I want, live in seclusion, invest in rare art, and pay for a hooker who looks like my daughter. Lost in a world between are the souls who only dream when looking up. The beams of starshine light land everywhere and leave valley-wide fingerprints for 7 years. Minute glass tubes can shiver without bursting, squid ink on glistening diamonds laid out on linens, spirals scrawled on maps with the location leading inside a puzzle box, while fungus slides up to a microscope and mixes with vinegar and bleach. Circles of sapphires line the linoleum tile with a surface so improbably clear that it mimics a screen. Lost in a world between are the souls who only dream when looking up. This is called Corsage. I've been waiting. It's been too long, but now you're here and I don't want to waste any more time. An invitation. A collage reality. Gilded curtains, blue carpets, singed rosethorn blood. Apples and lasagna swathed over your stomach. Sometimes I miss you, sometimes you hate me. Boiling and dark, searing in rhinestones, X-ray angel, melting crucifixes, smiling faces. It's so easy to forget everyone. It's so easy to adore you. And this is all of White Apple. Hope you enjoyed it. The audience glares. The audience is alone. Projected onto the cities, moving mouths, upside down, silent, cement. Struggles for breath, lets the water run, walks with a stilted, failing gait. The water runs in the documentary, behind the page, a lesson in taking what you need, wanting to know, so bad, so thirsty, so eager for the seed. Roman columns, deep shadows, buttressed arches, fallen collective breach, eyes cast upon the outer circles, eyes cast upon the oval rings over the sea, eyes cast on eternity, eyes cast on maternity. Then across the valley, across the street, he could see cracks in the statue's feet. He crashed his car against a building, against a lamppost, fluttering fingers ivory, dancing around darting mercury. The survivalist juts forward, head leering off the shoulders, sees the wet walkway glistening over, enunciates to nobody listening, his face an impression in plaster, refers to a thought he had earlier, but it's too austere to articulate. He's had too much sugar to hold his hands straight. As the glass carton breaks, he collapses, the cream running parallel over his veins. The audience on stage, the public face encased in a clear plastic capsule with evenly explained rules typed on an eggshell card displayed underneath, each remark catalogued and critiqued, each dismal dismissal a prized antique. Washed clean when the day ran dry, the only dot in the satellite sky, the audience needing permission, needing drink, needing oxygen again, the combination hidden in international waters, the shadow shining on the light. Everything in plain sight secret, a camera on its tripod spinning a circular angle, a code transferred, captured, held by an ascending angel. All are welcome, but come open-handed, without guests or family. You'll enter easier naked and your intentions won't be mistaken. Jagged rocks under the rushing river, which lead to the lake. The scene is a remake, a three-point star shape superimposed with stretching hands, making a cityscape, and cold exhaling, creating hovering clouds. Silent! Take out the sound. I want to hear the rushing. I want to hear the pounding. I want to hear the happening. After the action, the empty air in my ears. I want to hear the flying birds make their calls, hear the echo reverberate off of ancient stone walls. You become naked, with ivory skin, face like an alabaster wedding ring, grow and live in a green-tinted glass tower with marble accents. You know the leftover unhealed scars of the ancients. You could taste the dead Romans in the ground when you eat the cloves of garlic, cold fingers in a clean line of events, little pencil marks leaving a rumor under the map, lotus position on the floor, side of your head laying in ice water, fresh sage on the bell, and in your pocket, a jade pendant of a lantern, match earrings, a lone cigarette, a farthing and a sixpence, a plan to go to the States, but not sure what dimes and nickels are worth yet, or where to find Wyoming on a map, but that's a question at best for the solicitor, or a prayer to the lace maker. You have the relics, word came from the pontiff, an aged tooth now black as onyx. You become naked, with ivory skin, face like an alabaster wedding ring, in a penthouse apartment filled with ferns, studying a blue flame or the serrated edge of the ancients who built the park you gaze out at. Boys and girls climbing a ladder, preparing a crown that they will wear. If they choose to, they can share. Looking at the Khyber Pass, buying a chart with supplies to last, heat production, carving a chair before the mold hardens, pressing stones into the floor of the garden, removing spikes from the ocean, twin conversations without a sound, ripple effect, the rings spread over the gown, their bodies, the sun and stars, barely touching, beginning of the day, reflection eyes every moment in exchange of an inspired surprise. Boys and girls. My front door, there was a knock, didn't open up even a tiny crack. I said, "Go away from here and never come back." I know a servant in her master's house. She walks around, head tilted up in arousal and awe. She never plans to come out. She's quiet, like a nail in the wall, slides her face down the granite on the fireplace to calm herself after roaming the limestone banquet hall. She is of far greater virtue than those she sold her name to. She never stops speaking in an inaudible hum, turns the ringer off on the phone. She said to me that I could be a great actuary. I said, why? And she replied, well, in your soul and out of their cells, you know people can't save themselves. Celeste, plucking out notes, your voice enters, both leaping the octave up. I never need to find you. I see you everywhere I look. Every flower petal, every blade of grass is another detail of your face, your flesh. You sit at the piano and play simple chords, ascending, and as the sustain fades, the tones are slightly bent, but each note you've picked is one of the elements. You're lighting up this room without even realizing it. You write down that I is another, your electricity. You make me. She asked her, what do you think of the shower? She said, it's beautiful. Warm, warm. Ivory lady, how I want to know you. You wore a Russian stole, and the moon and the sun and the ice water flowed down. And she said that she could drink each drop. You were the jasmine. But she shouldn't say anything is beautiful because she doesn't know you. She's never seen you, not even a picture. It's true, you make me. It'll take 7 minutes to tell you about how sometimes I feel like a vampire. I take your feelings, your moments, and feel them deeper than you did. Make you think you're insincere, but is that so bad? I don't know. You make me. I run. You've always been free. You're so smart, smarter than I am. Maybe that's what I believe, because I've never seen you stop and think. It simply is. Forwards and you can be in reverse. I think your mind is maybe the most beautiful thing, but then your eyes. I rewrite the list all the time. Heaven's choir is harmonizing for you right now. Can you hear them? Can you feel the reverberations gently hold your body? What they're singing about, only 1 in 30,000 could ever even hope to understand it. Further words fail me. I just want to watch from my window and think about the falling rain, rest my head and see your grace. I'll be back to you in just a moment. I have to change the subject for a second. The cloud drizzled down today, only followed by the most incredible vacuum of quiet, a right shock of silence, and up from that, after about a paused minute, was the first truly joyful noise we've heard in a long while. To us alive on earth, a Celeste plucking out notes. Warm, warm. Let's kiss. Let's see. Let's together. You make me. This is called Life Isn't Hard. The hour ends. The light bends down into a bluish brown. This man can program situations from his fingerprints into any town. Inch by inch, the ground grows thin. The twin and his father begin to cause alarm. The taxi quits. The street spits its cement in the air. The rider grows quieter, seeing the broken glass hang from her hair. Inch by inch, the ground grows thin. The bankers begin signing citations for fraud. Congratulations around the table. Plans are made to auction any residual minerals. The phone rings. The professor brings flowers to the cement. The student laughs, burns charts and graphs to everyone's amusement. Inch by inch, the ground grows thin. The anchormen begin questioning their cause. I got Earth in a fingertip. The speed of the rotation. Did you see the loss of gravity in the city? People's umbrellas and sunglasses floating around. The water was flowing through State Street. People were swimming over the ground. Did you see the cops throw off their badges and then dismantle their guns? They got on top of their squad cars, on their knees, worshiping the sun. I got Earth in a fingertip. Fire and holes surround the parched, silent fields of brown, and soon they will be flaming out and leave a puff of smoke. Merry cries under autumn skies sink the isolated dream in its distance blurring view. Nora wrote about the vanished boat that tried to dock off the Irish coast and sailed in between the mists, was never seen again. Replacement folks in their town, the clocks are all tightly wound. The people can't decide if it's illusion or if it's true, but I know that there is less of me and almost nothing left of you. The frenzy took over, the reverie increased elucidation, the foundation was accumulated. Oh, there's a comment. Thank you, Tony Moon. It's very kind. God bless you. It's called water. Actually, 1 second. All right. Water, 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 water. It would be good if motion could evaporate and then solidify into a form we view in flux, or be on course to be boundless and sing of the sea, aiming a voice at the sky. Never again I'd read a tattered sign. My body no longer closed in the folds of dirt and clay, but wind-blown and awake, seeing droplets and rivers become oceans and lakes. The salt darting through the air ends my hunger. It cleans the shore and surprises its permanent structure as the molecules become lighter and smaller. Dance on the water, woman and man. Thou shalt have a boat, thou shalt save a fish, thou shalt be steering when the boat comes in, thou shalt have a vision up in the crow's nest. Dance in the water, woman and man. Dance in the water, dance for the birds, for the wind, for everyone stuck on land. Thou shalt see the king before the revolt. Thou shalt find a partner, one to love and to hold. Man will be woman, and woman will become man. Dance in the water to the perch and then to the sand. I once lived on the Salisbury Plain. We'd come from Ireland and only ate grain. We changed their battle hymns and substituted our names, and we sang boldly, "We shall rule the waves. Never, ever, ever shall we be slaves." We sailed in the Pacific fighting equinoctial gales. We felt liberated by the sight of sharks, storms, and whales. We gathered strength and survived the death of Captain McCahey, for we would have been despised by his ghost if we had stopped facing the sea. Now we're outward bound toward the Gulf, back to the Indies and around again. We'll gather gifts wherever we dock, and when we're headed homeward, I'll bring silver galore and a Persian cat and camel fur, and you won't wear those cast-offs anymore. Now haul away the bowline, the ship is rolling. It's a tough life we merchants undergo, and we don't give a damn how hard the winds blow. The sailors gave us a bad name. They let us fall through the weary waves. They throw a hatchet in the floor of their boat, and if it doesn't sink, you'll hear them gloat. But if we roar out of order, never again would we see the sea. No more, no more, no more. We sail with a northerly gale to our early home in the county of Cork. Our mainmast sprung, our pitching done, fire in our stomachs, salt water in our lungs. Now haul away the bowline, the ship is rolling. Ocean, ocean, ocean. Endless ocean. I moved where I could see you, away from places I couldn't see through. I threw away my socks and shoes to be waiting at your shore. Endless ocean. My blood has all departed. I stopped the things I'd started. My organs are unguarded. I see your waves get parted by the tide and its rippling mood swings. Endless ocean. You sing so perfectly. I am in love inside the cotton of your warmth. Endless ocean. I'm calm and now I'm here. Your reflection is so clear. The sky is just a mirror, an imitation of you. Endless ocean. I don't need to talk. I found what I have sought, and to you I will walk. Endless ocean. At this moment, you should be with us, feeling like we do. You love to, but never will again. Hope you're okay out there in Alabama. Just 200 miles from where I used to live were the lakes and legends, afternoons crawling the canal, running in circles, scaling fences, coming home curfewless, lying in bed, stretching your arms out in front of your face, fingers making shapes out of the light, album covers on the wall next to calendars with modern art. Do you remember when we used to work together? We went to the swimming pool and recorded the kids laughing, splashing around to use in a sound collage. Those kids are grown-ups now. We went to the quarry and watched the slabs of rocks being hauled away by trucks. We'd stay and talk until the time silenced our throats. Those rocks are buildings now. Do you remember when we used to work together? We used to never worry about money, only if there was enough to have fun for the week. Sometimes I think we could still be there again. The band played No Side to Fall In, and you clapped and sang along. I used the same words the next night, and you said that I was wrong. Do you remember when we used to work together? Standing in your mom's house, her pizza cooling in the kitchen, your hair and clothes a ragged curtain, playing your guitar, glorious crystalline shards. You asked me to write a brass score. I figured it couldn't be that hard. Do you remember when we used to work together? This is two Franciscan nuns chewing mint leaves while crossing the Calumet River. The paper mill's exhaust pipes interrupt the vista. Mules waited with surge protectors, hairspray, and cassettes. A riverboat of morphine-addicted ghosts over there on the left. Two Franciscan nuns wanted to build a hospital, but settled for organizing games of chance. In their hotel rooms, they squeeze out extra acidic orange juice and excommunicate people with unpleasant names from the phone book. Two Franciscan nuns helped decorate an admiral in the pensioner's home after he'd misplaced his uniform. They blessed his pills, kissed his parakeet, and as he slept, gathered sets of his false teeth to sell at the swap meet. A brain with blood and oxygen is better than a fish who talks. What some people see as skin discoloration is in fact the natural pigmentation when viewed from the inside. Some newspapermen have always known this, and indeed, they have nothing to hide. Doing okay out there? Good. All right, this is get comfortable. This is a conspiracy of silence. We walk by each other on the street. You do not speak. I can see you have no ambition. You can see I have no standards. I do not speak. We are equals. We are parallel. I've seen you in the water. You've seen me dream. You never eat. I never sleep. We walk by each other on the street, never met, but there's still a blink of recognition. We enter the plane. We're flying over England, viewing from behind the wing, seeing St. George's Cross spread over the aisles all the way down to the carriage of the Queen. It's a conspiracy. 35mm slow-motion shot of Bernini's St. Longinus. Who wrapped it round and hung the wires that had been laid at the feet of the Empire? Ever picked up that call? Ever read the books that were left in the basement? We walk by each other on the street. We don't know each other. We do not speak. I roll my eyes, and you repeat the conversation from a passing taxi. It's a conspiracy. Blue, green. We are water, etching lines and rocks, running diagonal patterns on the face of the clock, blurring the note on the windscreen, a pristine, steady stream, or drops from the sky echoing to your mouth, and you need to ask, wondering like your feet are on fire and these are your first steps into the bath, a murmur, a moan, and you need to ask, ever feel the fog touch your curled hair in the everlasting afternoon. All my dreams, all my dreams, all my dreams are in blue and green. The herring was red. I sleep on a purple bed with fresh white sheets, and it's a conspiracy. With a wink of complicity, I can slip right in and inside improvisation. No, a pantomime playing at the Museum of the Mind. It's easy, it's instant, it's open if you want it, and I want in. Does it diverge from memory? It's a conspiracy. Did the blue dog climb your stairs? What kind of candy was it? And when did you take it? It's a conspiracy. Like the lilting willow, we walk from window to window. We don't know each other. The tempered glass is salt water in our hands. And I think I need to give thanks. I think I see the lantern that you're holding out of the ground, and more like the weeping wall, curled into a ball and newly resolved. A damn sure ain't a pantomime. It's a mystery. It's a conspiracy. Ever swing on the gutter like a vine? Ever fly over the jungle and the silver plain and see it wet with rain? We walk by each other on the street. You've seen me. I don't know you, and we don't speak. There's an open hand above your head, but it's an optical illusion from the clouds without sound. It's your secret to keep. It's a conspiracy. Was that you on the balcony? What do you say? The painting there. Did you find it confusing? Think it lacks meaning? But look right to left, not center down. It's all one scene. Do you see it now? Think it's a conspiracy? Yes, you heard me. It made me admit your moment, your Pyrrhic victory. Can I have this dance? It's a conspiracy. We walk by each other on the street. We see each other. We don't speak. Your fingernails are blue, your lipstick is green, the leather on your boots is frayed at the seams. I know that in your dreams you're still 15 with a stolen cigarette you nicked from the vending machine. The lung branches are soaked and your bubble perm is fast falling. And wouldn't it be funny if your interior life from now on is just this moment, endlessly repeating, same photograph on the wall mistaken for a mirror, and you can identify and you can empathize, but you can't know what on earth. We see each other on the street. Duke Ellington, East St. Louis plays the theme, cast iron boats, sterling silver symphony. We don't know each other. You start to speak, but it's drowned out by the man with the loudspeaker and the papers proselytizing his religious beliefs. It's like we're curators, caretakers for something we never saw, never knew, but understand purely on instinct, an instant assimilation, empathy, ecstasy, impressions from the senses. We are the examples. It is ours to not let the charted land that gives us food to eat and water to drink, a place to walk and live, vanish in clouds or become such a stranger that we're only hearing clashing tongues and react with a stance that turns wretched, frozen, and cavalier. We will reach and remain unlabeled, walk free in the community, fly over and under unanimity. We are the examples. We trace the dim signal. We will remain enthralled and observe entrance and relics and rituals without. And then he used to kiss her off and on her. When you talk to the clouds, can you? When you talk to yourself, father's mother, with 7 flowers on 7 stars on the chest of the Creator, we realize what is within and outside of us, what's invisible to the eye and eludes the touch. We understand the light inside the image obscures the image inside the light. The red and blue, blue and green. You never sleep. We see you dream, and it's a conspiracy. A great woman once said to me, you see a chair as it is, but when you burn the chair, you see the chair in your head did not burn or disappear. Motor oil on a block of ice, river of fire where a miracle was denied. Filtered water poured carefully on top of a block of ice and seeping down the slanted floor slowly toward the recording device from whom no secrets are hid. I'll believe this one thing even if the rest is lies, until we crystallize straight to heaven. It's a conspiracy? Of course. They're sitting in a circle, a celebration among friends, sharing your favorite passages out of a blank book. Closed circle, making notations on the pages with a candle wick. The chandelier hangs beautifully, laughter sparkles, and the champagne from the cellar under the cellar is free. Yes, it's a conspiracy. You walked in, I woke up. We were docked outside Oyster Bay on a mutual friend's houseboat. You arranged the table, gave a long look, and said, I'll give you good reason to take away my right to vote. We see each other on the street, eyes looking at the stoplight intently and drinking coffee that smells like crayons. The guy next to me on his iPhone reads, intimations of infidelity were a red herring. Me and the guy selling Streetwise laugh at his timing. Must be a counselor, apparently, or a confidence man, or a trial lawyer playing fast and forgetful with the facts, or a city planner changing his mind with each passing glance. We're walking out of Preston, zipping up your leather jacket. When you said that you laid nude with your adversary, I asked how it happened. You accepted the invitation, met in the garden, rested your heads on the stone wall that runs the perimeter. Did you pay rapt attention when the nightingale told his fairy tale? Did you ache in the silent seconds of the confession? You see me on the street. I see what's in your hands. Our eyes do not meet. As the people walk out of Walgreens, you ask, did you pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you? Do you bless those who curse you? I'll tell you this, it's a conspiracy. The morning mass was busy ignoring any message that wasn't theirs. It's a conspiracy. conspiracy. Was that a sneer? We know. She was standing on a corner in South London under a red umbrella on a sunny day, glass necklace and a gold waist chain. Do you have a title? Yeah, but I can't tell you. Look, can I take what I need? Please, I said to her. She said to me, I'm your sister and you just don't know. Not a martyr, a seer, not an abandoned spirit. Is this Don Giovanni? It's a conspiracy? Instead, we hailed a limousine and we walked by each other on the street. We've never met. I know what kind of fruit you eat. I have no ambition. You're trying to get my attention by throwing a flag on the feet of the gentleman delivering a block of marbled meat with a business card tucked neatly in the wrapping. 7 numbers in blue ink on the lettering. Did you count the columns around the building? 34 in a perfect circle. Ever been up to the top floor, skip school one morning and take the tour? We walk by each other on the street. You're carrying a painting. We won't speak. I don't sleep. You cannot dream. You walk up to the white door and wait for access. You left a book on your desk. The cover was torn and the binding was torn, but you like the questions that it asks. Razor cuts. How many songs can you sing in the sun? How long is the transmission? 7 flowers on your chest. It's not for lack of trying. It is a conspiracy. You walked in an oval. You thought over each permutation of the image's meaning. You looked through the stainless steel window and down to the streets. Then you looked at me, and it's a question of genealogy. We see each other, we do not speak. The question, they looked at you, you looked at me. It is, in fact, a conspiracy. All right. And with that in mind, this is about a real person who will never know that this was written about them. This is, of course, any second now. This is, Allison with the blue sea and icebergs. She's ice cream in there. She's down the hall. She uses words like everything and all. I can hear her, but I can't make out her features. I know she spends her weekends in a cement cinema making notes. The girl next to her tries to see what she wrote. Allison wonders why the guy on the elevator keeps glancing at her and why the weather keeps jumping between rain and sun every 30 minutes. She keeps saying, quit asking me questions. I'm the one that's innocent, as people assume that she's joking. Allison wonders, what are the windows thinking on a day where there's a white line down the center of the sky? Her mind cuts back to the guy on the elevator with a quick, look at me, look at you, we are equals. Allison wonders if she can keep hiding while knowing that they're following me. Allison writes, what started as hopes are now just observations, mostly about nature, and being young stops being fascinating once it's done. Allison looks down at her bowl of spinach, and her eyes focus down on the details of one leaf, and she quietly speaks. An atheist sees this and can only think of the mud that it grows from. Allison writes, we extend grace out of our own sense of grace, and smiles because she's not sure if that's something of her own or something that she's half remembering from 2 or 3 incarnations ago. Allison considers why her back and hands are so slippery when she's invisible, and then tells her sister, my tongue is a graffiti sponge. I wonder if I'll have to make love in front of a judge. Allison considers that she's a character that looks and acts exactly like her, then draws a bath with the lights off. Allison invites her guests to walk barefoot while cherries and red confetti float out of her phone. Allison considers emptying cash registers if the security cameras lose power. But what she mostly wants are completely natural segues with no artificial blends. So with that, make thoughts your aim or nerve blaming when all meet with you at your beginnings, but make allowances for their worn-out tools and make dreams a trap for fools after they are gone. And with that in mind, lots of continuity tonight. Nothing but continuity. With that in mind, this is a white cello, and this, of course, quotes Van Ark when he's doing his Larry Graham impression. This is, yeah. Take the white. Talk to me. I'm in the open window. I'm not in time, but you've got your watch, and I need to learn to play this white cello. Scratch the surface. I'm on the shore with a can of sugar. It's never bitter. I'd really rather be playing, though, because I like the white strings and the white bow. That's not her. That's her, was the simplest thing you said today. I'm still reeling with no moments except now. You don't possess any microscopes, so instead I will take the telescope. I'm trying to be angelic, which isn't easy after getting desensitized with disappointments every night, eating fresh vegetables while planning. You already know, and then you talk me out of it. You don't have a pistol in your waistcoat, your teeth aren't flecked with flax seeds, my misjudgments are my own, and most are unknown. But just because I'm a pacifist doesn't mean I'll let any motherfucker abuse me. And speaking of myself, notice me. I'm standing next to the tree where the guy crashed the stolen car, then got out and ran for it. But I can behave for over 100 days, and I've squandered my efforts and so much goodwill that I sometimes still need to convince myself that I should try to take lessons to learn how to play it all. But I'm sure that you want me to, and I know what I can do. And with that, we're not missing anything. We're humming songs through the phone. We're midnight movers. We're holy rollers without a religion. No, we're not. And don't be the guy on the bike in the right lane racing for traffic, racing against his life, racing for his life against rush hour traffic in the morning. God damn. I know you are, and you know that I care. And I feel like I'm Clark Kent dressed in primary colors, and I just haven't taken off my glasses yet. She said to me, as long as it's not evil. And I said to her, I cannot be evil, certainly not right now. But it's the rising sun. It's a hard boiled egg. It's basil. It's a blue charm. I just want to play the white cello. I just want to sit in a circle and think about it some more. So we're going to wrap this up or test people's patience? No, we're going to change some channels. Quarters, dimes, and nickels, and all sunbathers must be wearing a blue suit. It'll be a reverse safari where they put lions, cheetahs, and tigers in a truck and drive them around to show people shopping and walking down the street or pumping gas. It'll be the apex of manifestation. It won't be in the Bible, but it'll be like the Bible. But why does it gotta be white? Never heard from before. Advertising space available. Clean, clear water. And of course, the tastiest tomatoes. Oh, God. Water. This is would you sell the relics, of course. The general that only cares about tomorrow also expects everyone to echo the same expression. And when the general can no longer see the power of their influence, they try and exert control over any small circumstance under their command. While the brigadier general worries to no one if they need a transfusion. The colonel who's concerned that not enough people's fingerprints matches theirs requires a warning on the front page of each report, along with a summary cut together by a subordinate in a matter of minutes so they don't have to waste any energy generating any contradictory thoughts. While the captain enters their coordinates so the location is known and updated every moment, which leaves the captain free to make discoveries like the wheel or gravity, then sell their findings to the executives or campaign staff of their choice, urged by a strong sense of benevolence, a tribute to charity as a force. And the first lieutenant's unmatched love of history is proven by the pictures taken of their parents with Goebbels in Brazil in the 70s. And the second lieutenant's jealousy shows and grouses to one, that's not Goebbels, it's clear it's Martin Bormann. The sergeant major that reset the standards of esprit de corps doesn't know the panic they'll feel a few short years later when they are urged out of the way, or that they'll become stiff with resentment and resolute in their calls for punishment and institute measures to monitor how the company behaves. While the staff sergeant writes on a photo of themselves, "The future points to you," and daydreams about collecting the remaining virginities from the sorority house down the road, and they already have the names, ages, and weights in a frequently updated database. Then the staff sergeant complains about commercials before content. The chief warrant officer who breaks ranks to research the order the alphabet was created in gets rueful about seeing themselves age and attending charity events, funerals, and hospital visits, seeing their face in the mirror more washed out than before, wondering as they write their commencement address who will even be paying attention in the audience, drinking from puddles, seeing what the sky says, not being able to read handwriting. As children, they each receive a small puzzle in the mail. And to the private, it's all an eye roll, and all so boring and shallow. To see another round of legacy shut out by an offhand remark, the private doesn't ask the officer where they should start. What's the matter where rebellion is kitsch and trauma is Walmart? The specialist greets the private. They each think that the other is a dilettante, and later the specialist considers, what's the matter where you have 1,000 followers and not a dozen supporters? Would you sell the Relics? Oh, yeah. called Yes. The soundscapes fly from dusk, sterility restricted to their thoughts, bleak as the day they were born. The concrete is in a state of flux, and the forest lies under a soiled blanket of lucid dreams. Pale-faced disintegration and the awestruck, penniless, geometric cluster, and its meaningless tradition. For some quiet, they'd drink shattered glass. For some peace, they'd murder a stillborn baby. Savages behind closed doors, but who commits treason and defines what's pure? With the precise rhythms and the headache medicine, memories seep through like blood under a fingernail. We never know when it's finished. The wave just rides. Preface to manifest slavery, entire chapters to write, planets of aliens to conceive. We never know when it's finished. The wave just rides. This is, of course, Slow Boat to China. The razor skin fell on the seat, the roof had been gouged out by a key, the exits were guarded, a few numbers written down, all typed out in a foreign language, all the product of inflation. The casino slot machines paid out with surf music in a 20-minute ring. The plumber knocked on the last room of the far wing and was tipped with uneaten meat. I keep trying to leave, but I only get more inside. I made it out of the garage only to be stuck behind a foreigner with $1,000 hubcaps on a $50 car. A girl climbed up the mic, and before she got numb, she asked them how they could stand the climate. She was from California, never was snowed on, didn't get stopped by trains. 5 miles, then down to 3, ranging from dour to catatonic to irate. Can't tell a building from a train. Everyone drives through, except for me, though, because I stopped the frame. I took the wrong exit, driving into the marching band display, and wrote my senator complaining to his face, and he wrote back saying, "Yes, son, it's about time we did things your way." Everybody acting like an altar boy, looking for a lampshade to make straight, some Sunday spending money, a free robe, a thimble out of the river because they got the chance to make their case. Trees grow faster in the city, according to the study. The nutrients depleted my body. No electricity is going to open that door. Ice is slow and not enough to keep my attention. My attention. Everyone acting like an altar boy, dragging their disagreements in the streets, stopped, slow and coy, using their vestments for sheets. A few quick turns and pleas for a reward, but the holding cell is empty and I don't choose to open it today. I paid to replace the battery and canceled my appointments. The dentist charged a late fee. The neighbor watched his lawn instead of TV. I put my dinner in a glass and filled it with water, drank half and left the rest. I threw in some safety pins to see how fast they'd rust, and after 6 months there were still no results. Mm-hmm. Jesus. It's called Cheltenham Girl. Like a cloud, beautiful sound, standing before the signal. When the light shines on the ground, it reflects off the wheel. Parking lot next to the short building on the edge of the desert. She sees it's harder to be a number when you're starting as a visitor. Cheltenham Girl. Clouds can't create the shapes they make or hold on to any rain. Precious, temporary, holding no domain. No machines, no cell phone or computers, clicking through broken links. Credit card, social security needed. She'll refuse to register. Cheltenham Girl. Every day, another wish, another mile, closer to the point where I can portray it. Until then, all I'll do is sing to her spirit. She will return. Perhaps she already has. And this is, I don't know why, but I get these notifications I promised I wouldn't say anything political. But I get these for some, I don't know why, but I get these notifications for these hearings that they're having. It's all these people sitting around without masks, and Giuliani and his legal team, and I watch maybe 20 or 30 seconds before I give up, and but there's like 144,000 people watching these things, and no doubt taking it very seriously, and I suppose that I suppose that this is dedicated to them. I read this poem is 8 years old, and I read it years ago, and it got very misinterpreted. But it wasn't written to be obvious. 144,000 people. Can you imagine that? Watching that thing, and furious, just furious, fucking ready to relight the tiki torches at a moment's notice. This is called Sympathy for the Cowboy. Sympathy for the cowboy, all alone on the range. After the war ended, he was forced to change his name. Sympathy for the cowboy, holding his dying brother, who begged with his last breath, "Tell mother I died with honor." Sympathy for the meth lab, and all who fight in harm's way, who hope to abolish minimum wage and charge only $15 a day. Sympathy for modern times and those who argue they're right. Sympathy for the victim who already has all the laws on their side. Sympathy for the student who's only lived in theory in a hammer and sickle t-shirt, walking away from the barricade. Sympathy for the lawsuit and all who fought for reform. Sympathy for the bumper sticker telling you to be reborn. Sympathy for the stallion running free and too wild to ride. Sympathy for the guy who tried. His wife cried, him and his foolish pride. Sympathy for the strawberry and the trial separations, press releases pleading for privacy and doing it for the kids. Sympathy for the nihilist, sucking on his cigarette, cutting you off in traffic, no constraints of guilt or regret. Sympathy for the stalker, on his computer outside, looking at pictures of you in high school, saving each one, even if it takes him all night. Sympathy for the cowboy, whose son moved off the ranch, said he might be coming back soon if there's no change of plans. I was going to say something else. Oh, yeah. Somebody said the other day, "Oh, it doesn't matter who's president, or it doesn't matter who you vote for," and it's taking fucking 30 years to dismantle what fucking happened during Reagan's second term. Longer than 30 years. Like, the two-tiered legal system is still very much intact. It's odd that somebody would argue that it doesn't matter. Not that one side has all the answers, but still a long way to go. But there are positives in this world, and that's what we're here to celebrate, right? So this is called "I'm Dancing with the Skeleton Key." I'm dancing with the skeleton key pinned under my belt the night after I'd had two simultaneous dreams, an ocular split screen, one where a white-tailed fawn galloped to my front door and another where my brother couldn't sleep. I'm dancing with the skeleton key tied on a twine cord around my neck, remembering when my sister was locked in a minivan and stranded in a parking lot outside of Austin. She kissed the windows and ate the tape in the cassette deck. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in my unopened mouth tucked behind my wisdom teeth and obscured by my tongue. I have memories that my sister still still won't believe. And I miss the 20th century because it all could have been done so much better. I'm dancing with the skeleton key scotch taped to my arm, and when I was in school, the vice principal gave himself a heart condition trying to figure out who had stolen from the convenience store and then boasted about it on the blackboard. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in the grotto of a dilapidated Catholic church, where the priest once confessed to me that after each funeral he performed, the only way he could raise his spirits was by making uneasy music with the organist. I'm dancing with the skeleton key concealed in an alley while bells chime at midnight near the railroad, and kids with no curfew dodge between dashing headlights on their way to play hide and seek in the park. I'm dancing with the skeleton key laid on the floor of a garage while my brother draws out diagrams on poster boards, connecting lines from consequences of thoughts to isolated islands of thinking divided by unintended regressions of actions. I'm dancing with the skeleton key while I am safe at home looking at sealed bags of clothes that I stopped wearing years ago while I was running for mayor on an unconfirmed platform of leaking information about the governor. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in an adjacent office because the evidence my brother uncovered just got delivered to the lawyer, and he predicts it will make the judge jump and remove any condemnation from his mouth. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in a strip mall that used to be a swimming pool, and before that a man-made hill that covered demilitarized waste trucked over from a Floridian base, and it will still take 100,000 years before any of it reaches its half-life. I'm dancing with the skeleton key clasped tightly in my hand as I watch my sister in the mirror speak sentences using only one word and plant orchids next to power lines in the backyard. Then she dots the driveway with empty jars to accurately measure the rainfall. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in my pocket moving loosely with me. My brother used to cry bitterly to our parents every time he got a ticket, refuting each offense, denying that he did any of it. I'm dancing with the skeleton key sliding uncomfortably in my shoe, but the nuisance helps give me the presence of mind to always hold up what I was taught, that when the rent is due, it's better to be full and well slept than to just hand over a blank check. I'm dancing with the skeleton key pressed into a book, watching Leaves in the Wind at a novelist at a press conference, performing fake sign language, hoping it will get him the attention he wants for trying to revive the printed word. Called Painter. He walked all day to the UK, found some money on the floor, and was on his way. He knew the book was blasted, so he saw through the murk. A little sinister, a lot of charming, made him do his work. Well, the painter couldn't stop painting over the image that he'd made. It had been perfect before, but now it's just on display. He broke a chair and started to shout, "You have no idea what my art is all about." Now he knows all the presidents and can say them all in a row, and in India he walked real slow. Some mountains, some architects and trees. He fell on his knees and got the picture in mind, but he forgot his sketchbook, and so he left it all behind. Now he dates a lady with rubies in her ear. The papers say he's idle, but that's not what she hears. There's no more brushes or messy oils on the floor. He's a sculptor now, and he gives his spare marble to her. So that's the story of the painter who ate hamburgers in bed, went to make the scene, and forgot where he put the thread. It's called Everyone. Too late in the evening, 7:45. The man around the corner lost his ring in a fight. Here comes St. Thomas walking through the door, found himself an auction, bought everything on the floor. I don't wake up too early. I don't cut my face. I don't call any strangers, and I don't look for their graves. Everyone gets half of what they want and half of what they don't. Half of what they couldn't and half of what they won't. Pork chops in the kitchen. Above the sink there's a light. No milk on the table for the blink of an eye. Up the road is a driveway where they come out paid. Yeah, they come out smiling, dead cats in their way. Everyone gets half of what they want and half of what they won't. Half of what they couldn't and half of what they won't. I wrote this a long time ago when I was 17 years old, and it is a poem of and about freedom. And it is called Neil and Bobby Socket to Me. I greet the puppies with a smile and attempt to comb my hair for a while. I idle my time on a red velour sofa. It's not mauve, it's not puce, it doesn't look anything like you. It's ugly, it's red, it's got plastic cushions. I spilled my apple juice on that sofa. Or is it a love seat, or is it a futon? It might be a bidet for all I can see, but whatever the hell it is, I don't want to sleep on it or eat chocolate cake anywhere near it. I don't even want to go in your house because your dog humps my leg, and your boyfriend picks my teeth, and your dad chews my eyelash, and there's not 1 inch of floor space clean enough to lick. You turn my water brown. You're seeing how Granddad dresses like a clown. He's got a big red nose that's not nearly as revolting as that sofa. So by the way, I'm not coming over tonight, so quit following me down the hall or hitting on me in the toilet stall, because any house with that much Elvis on velvet won't find me on their front porch swing or their Norman Rockwell painting. But maybe I will drop by, dressed in armor and a satin hat with some flowers for the maid and cocktails for the cat that never got me in the sack and a muzzle for that goddamn dog, and I'll cut out your nose hair and put on your pancakes and yell, supper is served, so the butler can take the night off and throw some darts at Granddad. And for dessert, I'll serve pigs in a blanket garnished with spaghetti Suzette, some lighter fluid and a lock of your mom's pubic hair to torch that fucking sofa to the ground, because it ain't no tucking no matter how hard you try to swing it, and the vinyl siding may go up in flames, but it really ain't Little Pink houses after all, now is it, Toots? It's easy for your mom to spend Friday night trying to lecture the TV while half asleep, continuously saying, let it all breathe, when she's not the one out there trying to brave the wind and walk across that wing with just a 4-foot stick of balsa wood to help her keep her balance. The Tsar's personal physician put the head of surgery in bed, calling his staff around and explained that this could be the end, but he's not really certain because he's been just too depressed at the prospect. At least that's what you thought, he said, but you were quite distracted by the kissing couple over on the observation deck. And you got yelled at for sleeping during the meeting by the head of marketing, but you didn't feel any guilt as you explained that you had been sin-free since the night before, and the head of marketing agreed with you and closed the door and started rubbing your shoulders and wanted to talk about opportunities for advancement. And the private still cannot figure out how to break ranks or how to help your mom fill out a loan application or get a new sticker for her license plates, and the two of you prepare for their weekend leave by getting hair extensions and hitchhiking back to the hospital. You've been reading diaries, you've been reading autobiographies, you've been writing long treatises out on graph paper, you've been condescending to your enemies, you've been giving away easy answers that argue that there are no easy answers, you've been running forensics on untabulated statistics, you've been staring at a man buzzsawing down a tree thinking, anyone but me, you've been miming in a marching band, not playing a single note all season, you've been looking at the apple in your hand, hoping to know how you'll find another, and good God, you've stolen mail from your mother. You've been looking at a fence thinking, enough of this. You've been back to the hospital, staying after hours in the maternity ward, laying newly minted silver rectangles on newborns' chests. You've been counseling dry drunks. You're nearer to sovereignty and whoever picks apples for free. You've been painting large unfinished arcs on your foyer walls while in expensive new clothes. You've been nearer to sovereignty and whoever spreads apple seeds for free. You've been barefoot while feeding skunks. You've been seeing your reflection in cardboard. Let it all breathe is the reminder that you whisper to yourself when you're out walking across the wing, watching flotsam from Beechcraft Model 18s rotate overhead, amazed how machinery so heavy can defy gravity. Let it all breathe is the reminder that you whisper to yourself when you're out walking across the wing, watching jettison pollution floating in the Indian Ocean, in utter disbelief how the laws of nature can be defied so carelessly. You're a wing walker. You're a wing walker! Closer to sovereignty, closer to picking apples for free, closer to crashing the fence, closer to opening books. You're a wing walker, trying to make a future full of stars, wishing you weren't feeling so far. You're a wing walker, closer to sovereignty, closer to spreading apple seeds for free, closer to swimming naked, closer to learning a few languages. You're a wing walker. You're a wing walker, trying to make a future full of stars, wishing you weren't feeling so far. But they found me, realistically resembling myself and fully alive in a different year. Questions were drawn up to determine how I appeared there. I explained to them that I went to sleep because I couldn't function being constantly awake. Theta waves turning back on themselves, spindle waves with no chance to crest, and slow waves never close to arriving. A wing walker craves immunity to maintain sovereignty, feeds on concentration to maintain sovereignty, brushes memories to maintain sovereignty. Theta waves are just the start. Spindle waves stand you straight up. Slow waves safely deposit you back along the shore. A wing walker needs to have clear vision and to be free of poison. You have to know where to turn on the lights before you go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. And that, my friends, concludes another exciting edition of the Quarantine Stream. We hope that you've enjoyed it. By the grace of God, I will be back here next week. Until then, put my glasses back on. Yeah? Yes. Until then, just don't forget, stay safe, stay smart, and stay free, because you already are. Yes. All right. Wonderful. Oh, and the Quarantine Stream theme. Jesus. Beautiful. All right, everyone. Have a good week. So long. Goodbye.